what is happening on Art Discord servers? And why is this happening everywhere? So while you watch me draw this today, let's talk about some of the most annoying, the weirdest, and definitely the most inappropriate conversations happening on Art Discord servers. But I'd also like to propose how to address them. Starting us off strong here, I want to go ahead and address one major question that I have literally seen since even pre-Discord, and it presents itself like it's a nice little innocent question, but it has an undercurrent that's actually really sad. And it's going to be when people ask, is my art good? And look, I literally see this everywhere all the time. And here's the problem with this question is, what does that mean? And I think that you're not really addressing the root concern here. And so just to analyze that type of person asking this question is that this is typically somebody, it sounds like, who doesn't really have a good artistic support network, that doesn't have peers that they could ask that question to. It also is usually somebody who's not supported whatsoever, especially from like a home or familial sense, which I can definitely relate to myself. And the other problem with this one is that when we're asking, is art good or is your art good? It's a very relative question. Like in comparison to what? Compared to a big YouTuber? Compared to somebody that works at Blizzard or Riot? Are we comparing it to somebody else that's also in the server? But there's a deeper issue in why I needed to start it off on this list. Because this type of person does not understand the question that they're asking. So like for me, when I hear that, I'm always like, well, what are your goals? And what are you really seeking? Are you battling, your aunt's opinion about your art being trash and you want to know, oh, is it actually good? Ask them, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Like, are you trying to get into a job? Are you trying to go ahead and do this? Are you trying to do that? We want to figure out, like, what is that relative to? Because the problem here is that asking if you're good is relative to where you want to go. That's the best way to approach that. But instead, most people just wholly avoid this because it's such a big loaded question. But if you have the heart and soul to actually have a conversation with them and give them a more meaningful response and help them like this, then this is going to help them understand it is good, it's good in relation to this end. Next, I can't believe that this happens. And, as artists, we explore some dark territories. But this one happens all the time on Discord servers. And you're going to get the person who is going to put some very cringe, very inappropriate content. Like, they know that this ain't right. And I'm just going to tell you, like, as somebody that runs a Discord server too, it puts such an odd strain on your moderators to have that conversation. Is like, is that? Whoa, hold on a second. And the thing that I want to respect here is that, yes, as artists, we do and are meant to explore questionable territories. But there's people, and I don't want to call people out, and I definitely don't want to go ahead and give any hyper-specific examples, but stuff that is illegal, stuff that is supposed to be intentionally made to make people feel uncomfortable and off-put. And so the roughest part about this is that, first off, you'll anger people. Second off is that you'll make them uncomfortable. And third, the worst part is that it tends to turn them off to the server. Like it's the server's fault. And yeah, if the mods don't sweep in or no one tells the mods, then yeah, that's terrible. Like that needs to stop right now. And so listen, I'm not directing you what isn't or is appropriate. But I would just encourage you this, friend. Please, if you are this type of person, you need to first off check to make sure the server is appropriate for that. Make sure that you're putting it in the right channel, that it is appropriate for that too, because you can't just go ahead and toss that kind of stuff around like general discussion forums and then just expect the best to happen, because it won't. And then I also just want to put out this right here. A couple months ago, we went through this apocalypse on Discord where everybody thought oh my God, I'm abandoning this platform because they're asking for IDs. And I'm like, this is the type of stuff as to why they started to demand this. Whether you agree with it or not, it's this weird dank stuff, it needs a home, but we need to make sure the children are not exposed to this because it's wrong. All right. So otherwise you're fine and you're safe, just to put it out there if you're worried about it. But yeah, if you see this, let someone know about it because it ain't right. Moving on, as someone here that delivers you hard advice on how to go ahead and grow your channel, how to grow your content, how to grow your art business, I see this question asked everywhere all the time, all spaces, on all Discord channels, on all servers, and it's gonna be this, Jeb. How much is my art worth? You ever seen that one? Someone puts up, a couple pictures right there. How much is my art worth? How much would you charge for this? I have such a problem with this one because if you're asking this question, I just want to put it out for you because I see this all the time, including in my server, and that baffles me because it's like, well, you joined my server because you probably watch my YouTube content, and I know I have multiple videos on how this should go. So if you are this person though, here's my concern. You are asking the wrong person. The only person that you need to ask yourself, how much is my art worth? Just turn those fingers and do this. Right here. You, not me. You can ask me, but I'm going to go ahead and ask this question back to you. But I would literally ask you well, how much do you want? What do you think your art is worth? I have some very hard numbers that I would propose that if you want to be respected and get good clients that don't suck, then you should go ahead and start at XYZ price. But the biggest problem that I have is that you're trying to get other people to go ahead and validate what you already know you want to do. Or you're trying to get people to see if they will challenge what you would like to do. What also tends to happen, and I'm just going to be honest, but there's a lot of underselling artists. And it pains me to say that, and that's literally like why I make this content on my channel so you can do better. But the issue becomes that a lot of people swoop in, they're like, no, you can't get that. The market's to this and to that, and we'll talk about those doomsdayers in a few minutes here. But I want you to just understand that you should stop asking it. And if you see somebody ask that question, how much is my art worth? Turn it right around and ask them, how much would you like? What's your niche? How long have you been doing this? How long have you been getting clients? How many clients have you had? Start to ask them those types of questions so it becomes a meaningful discussion. And so that we can help them come to their own conclusion, because honestly, if you're asking this question, the biggest issue is that you're totally new and you haven't really done it yet. But I would never go ahead and ask anybody that question who's not already an active professional, who's not already experienced in it. Sound good? Help them out if you see them. Now let's roll into this topic, which is going to be very appropriately themed to a lot of these, which is a discussion surrounding why they are afraid to work with clients. Is this you? Have you ever seen this on any of the spaces that you're into? These are the people that are swooping into and they're trauma dumping all their bad experiences. Oh, they're terrible. Or this happened to me. I got PayPal scammed out of that. No, this is awful. It's the worst experience of my life. And everybody just commiserates together and trauma dumps on all their bad experiences. And we'll get into trauma dumping in a second here. But on this topic here, I'm concerned whenever I see this because two reasons. Number one, we are polluting a potentially really excited person that could potentially produce a lot of really amazing artwork for some really outstanding clients. As somebody that's been freelancing for over a decade and grown their business from practically absolutely bottom of the barrel pricing to much more respectable pricing over the years, I can tell you this. If you want to work with clients, I would probably talk to somebody that's actually worked with clients. I would maybe go ahead and peruse some of my content, friend, which by the way, if you're liking, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe because I will always give you honest, actionable feedback on what you can actually do to get clients and not just post on social media and just hope that they bless you with a whole bunch of followers to pay you what you want, because it ain't gonna happen. And then my second concern is that this is somebody who's so green, so unacquainted with the process, that they're going to be greeted by a lot of people that have had bad experiences. And then at the root of those bad experiences is always, if I really dig down to it, it's always going to be really poor practices. And not to blame, but when you have poor practices, you are inviting that. And so if you see somebody that is going to complain about this topic, what I would challenge them to say is like, well, what have you tried? What have you done? Hey, have you done this? Have you done that? Maybe offer them some resources. Offer them some help and suggestions. Please don't tell them how much their art is worth either. And then if you have a bunch of people swooping in and telling them how awful it's going to be, just please help them understand this. That's their experience, but it's not every experience, all right? Now, before I get into this next one, the reason why I also wanted to make this video for you today is because I've been thinking a lot about Discord and how great it is for artists, and it's been a great place for you to interact with fellow artists, build some fellowship, and build meaningful connections that honestly we don't get in the real world. And so in line with that, my Discord server is quickly approaching 1,000 members, and I would love for you to be a part of it. If you've never heard me talk about this, the link is always in the description of every single video that I make, and I would love for you to be a part of that. Link down below in the description too if you want to join up, because I think that you'd be great for it. Because the next thing I want to go ahead and launch into is probably one of the most obnoxious things, especially when handled inappropriately. Have you ever seen the person who is the trauma dumper? All right, have you seen this person on your servers who just every single time something goes wrong in their life, bam, they are right there telling you all about it. And the worst part about the trauma dumper is that when somebody tries to step in, tries to help them, then all of a sudden it's still wrong. They don't want to listen to any type of advice. I think that the issue is that, first and foremost, is that this is super off-putting to everybody else on that server. So first and foremost on this topic, I'm not saying that you can't discuss that you can't vent. But before you go ahead and do that, friend, I would just make sure if this is you to ask yourself, hey, is this really the appropriate space or appropriate channel for it? Like, for example, like on my server, I literally made a vent channel just so that can all exist right there and we can clean up everybody else. And then if people want to swoop in and help, want to help and support them because they have a big heart, we have a big space to do it right there. But it's not supposed to be that focus in the server. And that also kind of brings into like, is this the right atmosphere? Is this the right environment? Is this the right server for this concern? Because just to be real, like if you have something that's really, really wrong in your life, Discord is not the appropriate place to go and get it, friend. And neither is ChatGPT, for the love of God. You should definitely go ahead and talk to somebody. You should reach out if you are in crisis too. And I just want to put that out there, that talking to randos on the internet, probably not going to solve your problems. But somebody who cares, who has a good ear, and a lot of good solutions for you, absolutely will. But Discord channels, I'm going to say hard pass unless it's the right one. Moving on from that, the next thing I want to go ahead and bring to light is honestly something that I see everybody do, and it's very, very innocent, super well-intentioned, and it is going to be the person who is the poor critiquing artist. And so I see this from two different angles here. Number one is that if you are putting up your art in a space that is strictly meant for sharing, not for feedback, it is wildly inappropriate for you or anybody else to go ahead and start to critique them. Some artists, wild thought, just want to go ahead and share their art, okay? And the thing I can't stand is when people swoop in, they're like, oh, you need to do this, you need to work on your fundamentals, work on this, practice that, you plebe. And it's like, that's super off-putting. Like, honestly, sometimes even when I make these videos, people will go ahead and critique my art, and I just delete that comment so fast. It's not that I can't handle it, it's just like, that's not the focus of this video. It's in the background here while you watch me make this, but like, I'm not asking for your opinion. But then the other thing that I want to bring out here is when you put up artwork yourself and you want feedback, you want to hear people's opinions, but most people never actually do this well. And so what I tend to see a lot of people do is that they'll just slap up an image and then say, oh, well, Sean, nobody gave me any feedback. And it's like, well, maybe that's why. Because what I want you to do is, if you want feedback, friend, you need to ask for it. You need to also be specific. Don't just slap up your image here and say, what do you think? Maybe you'll get some thumbs up, you get some emoji reactions to it, or you get a good job. It can be just like the equivalent of you asking your family, do I look fat in this? And they're like, no, honey, you look wonderful. But in the sense of you growing artistically, instead of you getting a whole bunch of like, oh yeah, you're on fire, girl, you rock here, and a little applause, Be specific. Ask things like, hey, what do you think about the lighting on this? Or how does this look compositionally? Or what do you think about this interaction? Or what do you think about the narrative in this piece? I always want to encourage you to be very directed when you want feedback. Because on the other end of this, the amount of times I've heard people say, well, Sean, I really wanted to get feedback, but nobody gave me feedback. It's like, well, yeah, because you didn't ask for feedback. It confuses people. And also, I've kind of got this idea to make a video specifically about how to go ahead and ask for critique and give critique. If you think that'd be a good topic, go ahead and drop it down below in the comments. I appreciate it. But on both ends of the spectrum, please make sure that you're setting yourself up appropriately. And so again, on my server, just as an example, I have a separate section that's just for art sharing and a separate section that's just for art critiquing. And if you want critique, you got to go ahead and probe for it, my friend. Next, and this one is seemingly in tandem with the last point, and it is the person who will complain that nobody pays attention to my art. Oh, no. You put up an image and nothing happened to it. You didn't get any reactions, you didn't get any comments, and obviously that makes you feel like your art sucks. Relatable experience? Been there. Until I started to understand this, okay? If you want attention, again, you have to think about what attention do you want. This is not exclusive to Art Discord servers, by the way. You can easily go ahead and do this on Instagram, on X, Blue Sky, literally any social media platform. In fact, I've been doing it to you this entire time on YouTube. Did you catch on to this? You have to ask people for what type of reaction that you want. So honestly, for example, if you go ahead and you just slap up an image like that and then you're like, oh, nobody paid attention to my art. It's like, what am I supposed to react to? Just, yay, good job, you made something, which honestly more people should do. But did you invite reactions? So for me personally, if I make an artwork, I'll always go ahead and ask some type of a question with it too. Hey, what do you think about this narrative? What do you think about this mood? Or tell a quick story about it. You have a quick blurb hey, I really wanted to go for a much cooler palette in this. I've never done that before. What do you think about this? Or hey, this atmosphere is supposed to be really funny, and I usually do things that are really intense and battle-ridden. What do you think about this? See, one of the biggest things that you always want to do is if you want a reaction, you have to invite said reaction. But again, if you're just sharing your art and then complaining that nobody is saying or doing anything with it, this is why. Because you need to elicit that, not just hope that it's going to happen. Because usually it doesn't. Recognize people are busy. And if you don't direct them, if you don't have any type of meaningful call to action, then they're not going to do it. Now, let's talk about the person that you can very easily identify in any Art Discord server. And that is because you're going to see them usually on metaphorical fire. Yes, everything around them is crumbling, everything is burning down, and I am talking about the doomsdayer. Have you met this person on any of the servers you're a part of? Because they're there and they can't wait to tell you why everything is wrong that you hope and believe in, okay? This is gonna be the person who every single time that there's some wild, not that imaginative by the way, new advancement in AI, they're right there. Oh, it's all over for us. Oh God. Or there's the person that's like, oh, the art market. Oh, that sucks so much. Art jobs are done. Did you see the concept artist got laid off? Not because of AI, but just because the business sucks. Hide your children and your women because this is all over for you. Let's break it down. First and foremost, this is a person who's probably in the middle of some form of a panic attack, okay? They are so consumed and they are so ridden with these negative emotions that they honestly, sadly, they don't know how to regulate themselves. The other thing too I kind of put on them is that I think they are reading too much crap that is really, really bad. This is why, by the way, I don't watch the news, because the news is not meant to inform you, friend. It's just meant to inundate you with negativity because negativity raises ratings. Now, you can totally handle this how you like to. Myself personally, I ignore them because I don't really think that engaging with that type of person is going to produce any meaningful feedback. But if you do have a heart and you do have a lot of time to spare with them, you could try to talk them off that ledge, but please realize that they've usually already jumped, metaphorically speaking, of course. Maybe direct them too. People like it when you direct them to the appropriate place. And honestly, that kind of shuts down how they're feeling because it interrupts their cycle. They just want to keep going on this ranting, keep telling people why they're wrong, keep telling people, and also why they're caught up in that cycle that they're in right now. They're in that tailspin downward. And look, you don't need to be a part of that if you're not comfortable with it, if you don't want to. I totally get it. But again, this is super off-putting for everybody that's in a server. It makes them want to abandon it. And I do think that it becomes the responsibility of the mod team on that server to go ahead and handle that appropriately. Now, in tandem with that last point comes this philosophy. It's the person who goes ahead and complains that there's no future for us, that there's absolutely no way because of the market, because of the economy, because of clients, because of AI or whatever, that there's absolutely no future for you and that the art market is dead. And for that, I just want to let you know, friend, just to keep it real, it's absolutely not dead. It's actually really, really thriving. But unfortunately, artists have done a lot of things that gone ahead and kind of made it really rough for us to go ahead and exist. And a lot of bad practices continue to persist, regardless of the fact that it's never been proven to work for pretty much anybody. And if you want to know what all those traps are, go ahead and watch this video right here, because I'll tell you all of them. Thanks so much for watching, and if this helped you, please share it with somebody that you know so that we can make all art spaces so much better for us all. Thanks so much. See you next time.